What's up, teammates? Welcome to the Gold Diggers Youth. Here we talk about stories of leadership and motivation using sports as a metaphor dedicated to our daily grinders, go-getters, and everyday athletes. I'm Vince Velasco.
And I'm Babe Pinlock, and we are your resident gold diggers. But before we dig in, have you guys noticed anything new? Anything different? Vince, do you notice anything different?
Yeah, a bit. Maybe we can share with them a little bit more.
Yeah, well, just to update everyone, we've successfully finished 2 seasons. Successfully, guys. Successfully. And had an amazing time uncovering valuable lessons from our fellow gold diggers and top sports personalities like volleyball phenom Eliza Valdez and, of course, our golden girl, Heidelin Diaz.
And speaking of other exciting things, now we are excited to welcome a new program that aims to inspire our youth, the Gold Diggers Youth.
Yes, this season will be a very special season, and we've already locked in quite an exciting lineup of individuals whose stories we just can't wait to dig into and share with every single one of you.
And to start us off, we have an athlete with us who has competed in the international arena. She is a decorated Taekwondo Jin who has won multiple medals in international competitions, highlighted by her golds in the 2015 Southeast Asian Games, 2016 Asian Taekwondo Championships, and most recently in the 2019 Southeast Asian Games, among many others. Sorry, we can't put the whole list of credentials here because it's a whole lot. Everyone, please welcome the reigning Queen Eagle herself, Pauline Lopez.
Hi, Pauline. Hi, how are you? You look great, Mulan.
Oh, thank you.
Mulan.
No, but thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here on your first episode on Gold Diggers Youth. It's truly an honor, and I can't wait to have our conversation.
We have a lot to talk about.
I can tell Bae just wants to jump straight out of it. So Bae, go ahead.
All right, so I mean, you are quite busy. So what have you been up to lately, Pauline? Like TikTok, other things?
Oh, well, I mean, first and foremost, I'm currently trying to keep my health good, especially in the current times. I'm being very busy with attending online school. I'm still in Ateneo, and of course, continuing my training, even though we're training from home. I keep that in track, and something to share with you guys, but maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Ooh, I like a little bit of the teaser over there.
I know.
We get the sneak peek tonight.
No,
yeah,
you
well,
guys really do.
Actually, yeah. I think something that's not so much of a sneak peek, though, is that we know already who our Philippine representative will be for the next live action of Mulan. So thank you so much for this.
Thank you so much for representing the Philippines, Pauline.
Yeah, already plotting you in. But so let's jump straight into it. This is gonna be actually a lot of fun today. It's something that maybe you've talked about, but we should dig into a little bit more. It's a critical time in your career, Jordan. Like, how was that tournament, and how did it affect your, perspective on your values?
Well, just to give a little background, so the tournament in Jordan is the Olympic qualifications, and ever since I was a kid, the Olympics is the dream. I really sacrificed so much. I moved from the U.S. away from my family to come to the Philippines, give my heart to train, and after that, after not qualifying for Tokyo, of course, just like any human emotion, it is devastating. It is so devastating. It took some time to get over it because not a lot of people know this, but a month right after, I had to compete again. So I really had to bounce back right away. I didn't have time to really breathe because kailangan natin bumangon. As Filipino athletes, we have to show how resilient we are, how tough we are, and how paano tayo bumangon? You really have to put in the hard work. And so that whole experience really taught me that it's not always about the outcome, right? It's about the climb. It's what you put in. It's the hard work. I mean, although it's devastating, it really taught me a lot about myself and the athletic field and the mental aspect as well. It's something that you can't change but only learn from. Right. And if I were to do it again, I mean, it's this plan is from God. That's my belief. I always trust in His plan, whatever it may be, how hurtful it may be. It just might mean that there's something later on in the future. So it it taught me a lot about myself as well. I mean, it taught me how to be kinder to myself. Um, it really taught me a lot about life as well.
Well, I there's something I want to ask you about because you mentioned hard work, right? And it's kind of hard to fall in love with hard work after disappointing
Yeah.
results. It's not easy for everybody to, I mean, but how do you bring yourself back to that place of, enjoying the daily grind, enjoying those early mornings, late nights, those thrice a day trainings? Can you bring us back to your
Well,
mentality?
well, one is what I did was I had to really pause and reflect. I do a lot of journaling. I just write my thoughts when I can't really express it out loud. I mean, we can express it through workouts, training, sports. I mean, we're in a contact sport, But one thing I did learn is not just learn, but is actually really into dive into my emotion of being so grateful because not everyone can have this chance. Not everyone can, so many athletes in the Philippines right now, they don't have a chance to compete. That's one. They're stuck at home. They don't have tournaments. They're not even blessed to go into a bubble training setup. Shout out to Philippine Sports Commission, to my association for really supporting us, MBPSF for really believing in us to put us in a bubble and train hard for it. It's just really counting my blessings, if that makes any sense. It's just
Yeah.
really embracing it all, embracing the process. One thing I've truly learned now is, I mean, I knew of it before and I keep saying that to myself, but now that when I went through that heartbreak of losing, I had to say, wait a minute, be kind to yourself, remember the hard work you put in, and you're amongst one of the top players in the world. It's just even a blessing, especially in this atmosphere, to step on the court to compete in another country. So I just really enjoyed that process because you never know in how many years I won't be able
Right.
to do this, So just really enjoy it. Really, truly enjoy it.
Well, at
Yeah,
this
you know
point,
what
you
I've
already have a
been
future in coaching.
yeah, not just in taekwondo, but also like life coach. I feel I get the vibe. But you know what I'm really learning from Pauline right now is like your story is pretty much the essence of failing forward and kind of rediscovering who you are. I think what we have to emphasize is the champions are not determined just in the playing field, but I think they're determined in the training ground as well. So I love how you're talking about the hardships as well, because we often see athletes with their medals and their championships and all that, but we see that they go through things as well, especially in the pandemic. So as a young woman, how has the pressure gotten to you? Like, were there any low points in your life where it felt a little too much pressure on your shoulders?
I mean, how do I describe? I'm a perfectionist. I mean, even if someone doesn't put pressure on me, I put pressure on myself. Because I always just want to elevate who I am as a person. I always want to be the best version of myself. So when I don't get to my full potential or I feel like I don't get there, it's like, how do I adjust? Paano ko ba i-change yung anything that I'm doing? So yes, I always do feel pressure, especially in competitions, but just the right kind of pressure. I've kind of learned that, the right amount of pressure creates diamonds. So when I kind of get into that moment, I say, okay, it's not about you have to win. No, it's more of, listen, Pauline, this is my self-talk. Now I'm sharing with you guys, and I've
Hey,
never
we
really
want
shared
it.
with anyone. But it's like, hey, Pauline, you put in the hard work, you put in your time, trust in yourself, trust in God, trust in His plan, and just dance on the court. So that's the type of pressure that I have. It's to give my best version of myself on that court. And whatever it may be, the medal is just a cherry on top. But if it's the best performance that I can truly give and I can be honest with myself, then I'm more than happy.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Wow.
mean, you have this way of like speaking, and it kind of leaves you speechless. In a way.
Yeah, right? So we can actually exit this live stream and she's just
Yeah.
gonna talk for the entire
We can just
time.
probably
because
feed you certain questions, and then you can just tell
There,
her.
no, kasi my thing is usually when athletes win,
Yeah,
it's they always ask after, but it's those athletes who don't get on the podium, who don't
Right.
really get the time to share their story. You know, every athlete, I don't know if I can speak for everyone, but every athlete go through this that not a lot of people see what they go through, the sacrifices, the hardships, the everything. You know, they're leaving everything in the court and the mat and whatever field they're in, but not be able to share their story because they don't have the medal. I think in every essence, they're champions in themselves.
that's true, 100%. And your story is incredible. I mean, leaving your family behind, going on international stages, it's kind of hard to fathom doing that, and you're doing it right now. You've been doing it for years, but you mentioned stories, and I'm sure there are your own either personal experiences or other people's inspirational stories. Is there one experience you go back to, whether it's yours or another person's experience, that sort of picks you up when you can't seem to get, up out of bed?
I think one of the stories that I actually look at are um, it's Hidden Diaz. When I look at her story from before with how many Olympics she went through, it's just very inspiring. And even stories from my previous senior female athletes, the things that they went through, it really inspires me to really push myself and to showcase to not just to showcase to everyone, and especially young girls and women, and whatever you do, you can do it. You just have to truly believe in yourself. So those types of stories, it really inspires me to push and move forward, because even though you fall down, it's how you get back up, right? It's not always about winning. It's not always about succeeding. It's the process of getting there. I mean, it may not happen tomorrow or next year, but if you keep doing what you're doing and being the best version of yourself, I think in some way or form, you're going to learn about those experiences, and in that way, in that sense, that's the reward itself. That's the success if you learn from those mistakes.
Right. Now, I just want to backtrack a little bit, because a while ago, Pauline mentioned that she has started journaling, like a lot of people here who are listening. Apart from that, like, what have you been doing really to take time for yourself, especially since life has been pretty chaotic in the middle of a pandemic? What have you been doing to take care of yourself and remind yourself that it's okay to be human?
Oh my gosh, okay, so
TikTok
there are my
joke.
days where puede TikTok. No. But so I kind of just stay busy from like Monday to Saturday, but I do have some moments where I just do nothing, and that is like the hardest thing for me to do before, because I've just, before pre-pandemic, I've just always been on the go, and even during the pandemic, I just always want to do something. We were so used to this schedule and structure that we're outside, we're doing something, whether it's school, training, but I never really had time for myself to take care of myself, whether it's getting a facial, a massage, or taking some time to just breathe. So those days, on like my Sundays, I just don't do anything, or I spend time at home because I live with my grandparents. So I spend time at home, just hanging out with them, or just keep staying in my room, listening to music or watching Netflix, or just doing nothing really, just breathing, meditating. So those are the things I like to do when I just want to hang out and chill. Yeah.
So more TikTok joke.
No.
I think everybody can relate to her though. Like, we've really tried new hobbies throughout the pandemic. Has there been like any weird hobbies? You've mentioned cooking. You
Yeah,
tried
I actually learned
cooking.
it from TikTok. Yeah,
See,
I never thought of
the
it
instructional side of
that I
TikTok.
could. Yeah, and then when I kind of like said, because I didn't believe in myself that I can like do it, because before, my sister, my mom back in the States, they'd be like, can you just wash the dishes? I don't want you to cook. Like, they kind of just like, my self-esteem and confidence kind of just went down. Grabe, diba? So then when I like learned that, it's actually really fun. It's more okay. So that is actually one of the ways that I kind of relax because there's like a purpose to like cooking to like feed people or feed yourself.
Right.
So then when I make other people happy, it kind of makes me happy. So when I actually went back to the States after learning how to cook, they were like, "Wow, kaya mo na pala." So like that's actually really fun for me.
So you're not in charge of washing the dishes anymore.
Yeah.
Hindi na.
Okay, you can cook. You can cook.
Slice.
We'd
Okay,
love
so-
to taste it, Pauline. Vince
Yeah,
and I
we-
would
Once
love to
again, one
taste.
day.
One day, when all of this is okay. So I mean, there's a reason why we're talking to you about all of this because you've done so many interviews, you've talked to so many people, and we're gonna bring this back a little bit to the tournament, which is something I'm sure Bea wants to ask you about. But the reason, just to establish to everybody out there why we're talking to you about all these different things, is because they sort of need to understand you inside the tournament and outside the tournament as a whole. Because all those things put together makes Pauline Lopez as she goes into a tournament. So I know Bea has a very important question because
I wonder
she she has a lot of emotion and investment in you.
Well, we have a lot of important questions later on, but with this, how have you changed? Like the Pauline Lopez before, you've been mentioning a lot of different transition periods in your life, especially in the pandemic. But how have you changed, and how have you kind of changed your lifestyle to work around these new realizations in your life?
Well, these new realizations, especially during the pandemic, kind of taught me that there's more to life than just always wanting to win. Like, I've always just been, not naman always, but when I lose in a competition, I kind of just get so angry with myself. I always blame it on myself. But I've learned to actually be kinder to myself. More so where when I would lose, I would look at my tape and I just look at it, not someone with disgust, but look at it with like so much disappointment. But I don't really take the time to be like, hey, listen, this is good. What you did here in this part is good. Now, how can we elevate it? Like, more so in that sense, it's just like reflection is just a big part of it because it not just only teaches you about your sport in that field, but more so about you. How
Right.
can we grow as a person? And during the pandemic, when we're on that long hiatus of training with my teammates, it kind of just made me think about, hey, Pauline, you have to be kind to yourself so you can really know yourself. Really truly know who you are as a person. And maybe it is a blessing in disguise. I mean, I hate to say it in that way, but that break kind of taught me to just truly know and learn more about myself. And even after the competition, I was able to really truly learn more about the losing stage, what it means and how you can be
Right.
better, not just in the sport but in life.
Yeah, because there are a lot of things you can pick up from sports, and I think we say this all the time. Sports changes lives. Winners,
Yeah.
losers, the process, and
It's
all
the
of that.
values. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean,
In Taekwondo, there's tenets that I've always lived by, which is it's SMITE. So there's self-confidence, modesty, indomitable spirit, perseverance, and etiquette. And along that, I have like my subtopics, which is like discipline, resilience, grit. That all comes from sports, and I'm
Right.
so grateful to have to actually live or to have these opportunities to learn from. And I thank my parents, especially my father, for introducing me to Taekwondo, and of course my Philippine Taekwondo Association for giving me these opportunities to compete and not just learn from other coaches and teammates and friends, but learn more about myself to how can I have or learn from these values and bring it outside of sports, which is I'm truly blessed because without that, and I'm not saying that totally without sports, but I bring this with me in like academics or
Right.
if I'm doing work. These values taught me how to persevere, to be resilient if something doesn't go right. How do we get back up? Yun nga, the term, paano ka bumangon? That's always something that I live by. My sister always calls me bounce back queen, ganon. So
that's perfect.
no, but really, I've always just been telling young kids like you guys should try to do sports. It'll teach you a lot. a lot that you can't truly learn inside the classroom, but also if you do it, you can integrate it.
True. And well, I have two questions. One, before I know I'm talking too much. Bay, jump in anytime.
Me too. I'm talking a lot.
No, go ahead.
I have two questions. One, is Smite on a shirt yet? Because I think
Not
it's
yet.
not-
Should
oh, it
be.
should-
Let's put this on paper. Copyrighted.
And the second thing is because you talk about a lot about your approach now, and it comes with a lot of maturity and experience. Was there ever sort of like a turning point when you had to call yourself out? Was there one specific moment or a series of moments you were like, okay, I'm being too hard on myself, okay, I have to look at it this way? Was there anything like that for you?
Yes, definitely. It was the 2016 Asian qualifications again for Olympics, and this 2021 Asian Olympic qualifications, because I was so hard on myself. Like, I was telling myself, it's so harsh, really. Now that I'm saying it out loud, it's like, Pauline, wow, you already did Olympic qualifications and you didn't make it again. But then again, I had to rewind, reflect, and pray to God and ask Him for strength to get through it, because there's always going to be a reason. That's my belief, and I don't know for our listeners if they believe the same thing, but my belief is there's a plan, whatever it may be. I trust in Him completely. He gives more than what we truly deserve, and whatever it is in the future now, whatever, it's going to be a blessing. So just put in your due diligence and work hard, and eventually you're going to get something.
Bay, go ahead and ask because I'm taking notes. Ask the
Are you
questions.
kidding me? Me too.
Okay.
It's like we're learning from our teacher.
I love
That's
this
the vibe.
conversation. Oh my God, Robin.
Bay, my turn to take notes. Go ahead, ask whatever you want to ask.
Okay, so again, like you've mentioned a couple times before, how you value the importance of like talking to younger girls and inspiring them to actually be empowered and find a space in sports and in any industry that there is, actually, because women belong to all spaces. So you have recently launched your initiative, and I'm a fan already, even though the podcast was just launched yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, right? So can you tell us a little more about that first?
Well, SHERO is just something so dear to me because it's a brand that aims to empower women and young girls to pursue their dreams in whatever it may be. And I wanted to be that person or outlet that they can see that they can do it. And even if someone tells them that they can't, forget that. Believe in yourself. You can do it. So under SHERO, I started the Instagram page, Facebook page, and just recently launched the SHERO Talk podcast and video yesterday. So wow, you guys are really like the first one to actually hear about
We got
it.
the sneak peek, the VIP seats to this.
Yeah, no, but it's just like you guys, the Gold Diggers podcast, that kind of, and other podcasts that inspire other people, that encouraged me also to try this, to inspire young women and girls out there from having and engaging with people and strong, influential women, to inspire and empower other people, other young girls and other women, that they can do it and hear their personal stories, So I'm very excited. The next episode is gonna come in about 2 weeks. And yeah, it's very exciting.
She's trying to keep all the teasers away from us.
I know.
It's just enough to get you there, and it like pulls back a little bit.
No, but just a little trivia. What I love about SHERO is that it's just recent. It's a recent word, actually, that was just added into the dictionary, meaning heroine, female hero, and I just feel like it just encapsulates not just the essence of myself, but also all the females out there, all the young girls out there. I think there's an inner SHERO in everyone, and sometimes it's hard for other girls and young women to find it, but I hope that this channel, that this medium can help them find their inner SHERO.
All right, so before we delve into what SHERO is, we actually have an exclusive copy of the launch video. So before we begin with all the discussion about this, let's watch this.
Wang Wood was being recognized as one of the last artists.
Dahil po tayo ay pwedeng maging isang bayani sa ating sariling paraan.
Beautiful ako sa kung ano ako, sa kung ano yung meron ako.
We were able to give about 1,000 bicycles to 10 cities in Metro Manila.
The Iron Lady of Asia. Ganito nakilala si Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago noong nabubuhay pa siya.
The winner of Asia's Next Top Model is Maureen.
Which actually scored. She left the best for last. Philippines, the win is over. The gold is yours.
Wow.
Wow, you guys have my OBV. Oh my god. I'm really touching you guys.
You gotta break this. I can't say anything right now. It's so nice.
I know, I was just like, I think we all already have kind of like a sneak peek into possible guests for SHERO Talk.
Yes, we do. But I also just want to give a huge shout out to Virtual Playground for helping me with this also. I have a really great editor, producer, and a graphic designer. So really thank you. And also, my next guest will be Bianca Gonzalez. She'll be talking about
There you
who
go.
she is as a SHERO, as a mom, as a host, as everything in between. So I can't wait for you guys to see it. And I'll definitely keep you guys in the loop. So
Okay, but Pauline,
wow, you guys are really the first people who heard who will be my next guest. I love it.
I'll
can this be a
live
thing?
tweet this.
Can this be a thing? Like you're the
sige.
first. We're always the first to know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love that.
We get the exclusive updates about the next guests.
Yes,
But
very
can you
well.
walk us through kind of like the origin story of SHERO? Like, was this like a shower idea or just something you did while you were cooking? How did this come about?
It was just like a push in the right direction from my mom, and it was just like something that really, I truly believe it like encapsulates not just me, like I said earlier, but it's just, I just want to help other young girls and women see themselves, really identify what the true definition of what it is to be a woman, especially in this age, and especially with everything that's going on in the climate that we're in. I want them to feel and know that they can do it. They can do anything. So that's why I started SHERO. And later on, I will definitely let you guys know about another thing that I will be doing under SHERO. I can't truly just say it just yet, leaving you an answer.
We're so spoiled.
Yes, I'll definitely let you guys know. But yeah, I'm just very passionate about it. And yeah, see, I am like left speechless just talking about it. Like my eyes are like
you're glowing.
glowing.
You're glowing with it. No, it's so honestly, it's really refreshing to see the type of passion, because we know you're a very passionate athlete, but it's nice that we get to see how passionate you are outside of the arena. I did want to ask you though, because you're talking about the women today, whether it's Gen Z and beyond.
Oh, yeah.
If you were to sort of guide them through some steps of empowerment, would there be a specific guide or just certain words of encouragement you'd like to say to them?
Well, one of the things I would like to say is, and I kept talking about it earlier, is one is really taking the time to know who you are as a person. And that is something that I've learned actually talking to my mom, my grandma, other women that I've had conversations with. Is the first and foremost, before you can help other people, before you can help other girls, young girls, women, is know who you are as a person and know what you can do and learn from yourself before you can give to others. So that is something that I wish I learned much sooner when I was in my teens, because I've always just been like, okay, yes, I'll do it, yes. But then what if I didn't want to do something, but I just had to follow because I didn't know how to speak up or use my voice and didn't know who I am yet. So just really taking the time, it's okay, reflect, learn from your mistakes, and before you can help others.
You
I
are
think what
definitely more
I'm-
mature than me.
I was thinking about this a while ago because what I'm learning from this is outside of the playing field, you are Pauline Lopez who uses your platform to inspire young women. So going back to SHERO, you have been making meaningful conversations with these women, like yesterday it was Maureen Robowitz, and you've mentioned Bianca Gonzalez. So who are the 3 women that you hope to feature? Like a far-fetched dream, if you will.
Oh,
But
that'd
who
be
are the
great.
3 women you
God.
hope, you dream to feature in SHERO Talk?
Anyone in the world. Anyone in the
This
world,
is-
okay?
Anyone. You can think big.
Y'all are giving me like crazy. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Maybe they're watching
One
this
is-
and they will be
We'll
contacted.
send it to
soon.
them. We'll send it to them.
Oh my gosh. Well, one is oh my gosh, guys. I don't think a lot of people know this, but one of the celebrities and idols that I actually look up to here in the Philippines is Ann Curtis. That's one. 2 is Michelle Obama, with everything that she did in the U.S. and her platform, her voice, how she relates to many women and showcases the story. And the 3rd, that would definitely have to be my mom. And she kept saying no to me, but my mom. I mean, can it be like a group? The women in my life, actually, my mom,
Yeah.
both of my grandmas, because the knowledge that they have, I mean, they've shared it to me ever since I was a kid growing up. But I want to hear that now that I'm much older. And I mean, oh my gosh, they always give me sermons about life at home, but I definitely want to hear it on the podcast. So there.
Interesting
Wow.
lineup. I love how we went from
I know, it's so
Ann
interesting,
Curtis,
from
Michelle
Philippines to
Obama,
like.
and let's
No,
go
it's
back
great
home.
though.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh man. Okay, this is a bit out of nowhere because you just gave your living people, of course. But is there a sort of fictional character? Let's say you were to say you were templated off of a superhero because it's SHERO, right? Like, is there a fictional character that you would say Pauline Lopez is closest to as a person?
Ooh, you're giving me tough questions. You're throwing me tough questions now.
No pressure.
No pressure. You have to get back to me on that one. Because
Okay.
I can't.
We'll
There's
give you
so
thinking
much
time.
right now. Give me thinking time.
Because you don't want to exclude any of them, right? But you want to
That's
think of
why I
one.
want to
Yeah.
capture everyone. Oh my goodness.
Okay, so
I can't answer that right now.
okay, I think I have something that you can answer though. I think you have something you can answer because you're a very self-aware. You know, you reflect a lot, you meditate, and all these things. And I don't know if it's just me, but I'm getting the vibe that you actually like quotes. So is there one go-to quote that Pauline Lopez likes?
When you fail, just tie your hair back up or fix your crown. That's
Hence the
I'm telling
bun.
you, it's the bounce back. It's the bounce back thing. Like that's always something that I've always. Actually, ever since I was a kid, it's you fall down 7 times, there's 8 times, and you come back up 9 times. It's that quote by Vincent Barley. It's just always ever since I was 7. Actually, that's the one that my dad kind of taught me. This because I remember losing one competition and I couldn't accept it. I was like 9. Like it was just the tournament field was just so new to me. So when I lost, I threw a tantrum. Like I wanted to spar again. Like I didn't know how to feel. I didn't lose yet for like okay. Little trivia backstory. When I was 8, I started competing. I didn't lose the tournament for a whole year.
Wow.
Like, yeah. So the first time that I lost, I was like, huh? What is this? I don't know how to deal with this. So that was my first engagement with losing. And then that's when the mindset happened where pwede pala matalo. Ganun pala yun. So my dad said, how do you deal with yourself after? Tsaka how will you train harder the next time? Ganun.
Wow.
I know. We are left speechless by everything that Pauline has been saying. It's crazy. We're supposed to be like masters of words.
Yeah.
But look at us.
It's you by far, like, we've been doing this for a while. You are by far one of the easiest people we've had to talk to. Because we don't really need to ask too much. You just have to just tell us. It makes us feel super comfortable. I'm sitting here in my seat thinking, what else can I ask this woman? And I want to make sure I value your time. So, babe,
well,
you have anything
can I
right
ask
now?
you guys something?
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
My turn to ask something.
Go ahead.
So one of the things I actually wanted to ask was that when you guys are going through a tough time, how do you guys recover? How do you guys get back up? I've always wanted to ask this to people because it's different answers for everyone. So mine is reflect and take a step back. So what is you guys' like one word answer?
Oof.
Ako na talaga nag-interview, sorry.
Oh, wow.
Look how the tables have
this.
turned.
Babe, do you have anything? I'd love for you to go first.
I would like to pull out my thinking time card.
Okay. Yeah, I used mine already.
Okay. I won't use mine yet, just in case in the future we have you again, because you might stump me. Well, that's a really great question. Because I've learned about myself that if I sit still, I tend to dwell too much. So, and that's why I get that from you, because I completely understand the part about it's so hard not to do anything. And I'm gonna go to somebody. So I'm gonna go to somebody who's probably a lot of guys' man crush who just don't really admit it. It's Chris Hemsworth. One of his favorite lines is "Movement creates motivation." Right. So whenever I feel like down about anything, let's say I didn't have a good hosting job, I lost a gig or something like that, I feel like I have to do something. So whether it's walk, work out, talk to somebody, because that's just my process. And like the way you put it, understanding your own process helps you move forward.
Yeah, because it's different for everyone. Yay! See, I learned something new. That's a new quote. Oh my gosh, that's great.
Okay. That's so much pressure on me.
Let's go, babe. Let's go.
Okay. Inspired a little bit by Vince's answer, I would say, like what I mentioned a while ago, especially during the pandemic, I value failing forward, which is a new thing that I learned. And I really talked to my dad about this. Shout out to my dad if you're watching this. But I think the people around me have been instrumental in teaching me how to fail forward. Because ever since we were young, I think we've always been kind of programmed to always succeed, and that puts a lot of pressure on you. So until now, I'm still trying to learn how to let go of things that I can't do and to control the things that I can. So I see failure now as kind of like a step forward instead of a step back. So I take every learning that I can milk out of that failure and I move forward like a new version of myself despite that.
And it's just crazy because it's easier said than done, but once you act, like later on, like for me, later on, like a month or 2 months later, when I kind of figure out what I learned from it, I'm like, ganun pala yun. That's why it happened. Now, and then you're actually in the process of moving forward and actually doing it better. Then that's when the realization hits. So that's why I love journaling, because when I reflect and look back and read from like 2 or 3 months before, then you can really document and see your growth. I mean, it's just something for you. That's why I always encourage like my friends or even my family that, when you're having a tough time, to express yourself to other people, talk to yourself. I mean, it sounds kind of crazy saying that out loud, but really, you have to be kind to yourself, talk to yourself. And if you're your own best friend, wouldn't you be kind to them? Right. So
self-talk.
Yeah, that's what I learned. Self-talk. Yeah.
That's a really big thing. I think you see that in a lot of talks, movies, TED Talks, podcasts, all of that. Because there's that instinct to become so hard on ourselves, like you mentioned, right? And like when you make a mistake and be like, "Oh, you're stupid" or something like that. No, you're not. You just make a mistake. Yeah.
You're human. I think that's the thing. We forget that we're people too. A lot of learnings, no, Vince.
Yeah. So speaking of a lot of learnings, I hope I don't get this wrong. But it's sort of, if you were to summarize, let's say, because I have my own understanding of what we learned today and our discussions with you. But if you were to summarize maybe in 3 points everything you told us today, what would they be?
Okay. Well, one is take care of yourself, really physically, mentally, and of course in this time be healthy. And what I mean by take care of yourself is be kind to yourself. Take some time to sit back, relax if you have time, and be kind to yourself. 2 is take the time to reflect. And 3, what was my 3rd point? I'm so sorry. I got
No, you got inspired by yourself.
Yeah, I was moved.
Okay, while you're putting it together, I'm just gonna tell you how, because we were making notes. You're making notes, right? So
I'm not making notes.
Because we're talking to you. That's the whole point. You're talking to us.
I had to switch kasi because I interviewed yesterday and now I'm on the other side.
No, it's perfectly fine. At least now we know also you have multiple jobs waiting for you after Taekwondo.
You're doing a lot of things.
You'd be a coach, you'd be a host and all that. But I think, well, first point from how I understand it is value hard work and sacrifices over achievements and awards. Because that's the thing that gets you there, right?
That's my 3rd. Thank you for... Yes, there it is.
Learn to pause and reflect. And I think the next one is, I think it's something that you are really doing above and beyond right now, is inspiring the youth and the next generation. Because you could be the greatest athlete in the world. You could be the best in your field. But what is your legacy? Like, what are you leaving behind? And the fact that you're doing it now, safe to say, when it's all said and done, you can feel like I left the world a better place.
Right. Well, Vince, since we're kind of in that line of the thought, I'm gonna put you into this hot seat question, Pauline. At the end of the day, after all of this has been over and done with, and you are done with like many things that you've been doing in life, what does Pauline Lopez actually want to stand for or be remembered by? What is Pauline Lopez's legacy?
Well, like what Vince was saying earlier, my legacy is not just about sports. It's really leaving the next generation to be better people, to learn from the experiences that we went through, and to do that for the next, right? Because that's the legacy I want to leave. Like, it's just so touching to me when a young girl comes up to me, or even young boy comes up to me and said, "Thank you so much, Ate Pao. Dahil sa'yo, nag-taekwondo ako and nanalo ako. Or dahil sa'yo, nag-continue ako ganon. Like, nag-continue ako mag-school." Or, something like that. Because I actually, for those who are listening, I get, like, message requests. And it's very time-consuming to look through it all. But I read it. And the messages that actually touched me, one was, they had like a school project and it said name 3 women in your life, and she named all these exceptional women and then included my name on the list, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, and it was like parang grabe naman, I'm included in your list. And because of that, she continued school, she continued taekwondo, and that's something that I want to leave behind. I want that to be my legacy, not just the achievements but beyond that, so like you said, I want to leave something for the next generation to be better people and to have a better society. Because for us women before, we were just footnotes, but now we have a voice. We're so blessed to have this voice. I mean, before we can't even be in the media, but now we're out here talking about who we are as a person, what we're here to leave behind. So that's the legacy that I want to leave.
Wow. Vince, I think Paulina's used up her thinking time though. So we've talked about a lot of things. We've covered quite a lot. So that's enough thinking time. Let's revisit your question a while ago, Vince.
What was my question a while ago? Because I lost it already just listening to her.
Sinabi niyo na yun because something that one of my favorite movies is actually Mulan. You guys said it kanina. That's why I kept going like this. Like, I was so shy because I'm like, Mulan,
okay, favorite song from Mulan. Favorite song from Mulan.
Red Black Shine, my God.
Of course.
Bawal. Hindi ako marunong kumanta.
We've been talking about like all these inspirational and serious things, and it's really all about growth. But there's also a very fun, quick, witty side to Pauline. So we actually have a really fun segment, right, Bae?
Yes. Okay. So, are you ready for this? I just want to give you preparation time now because we're done with thinking time. So, it's time for our last segment, which we call Crunch Time. So, Pauline, basically what's going to happen is we're going to throw you some questions and you're going to have to answer them as fast as you can. No need to explain unless, of course, we ask follow-up questions.
Yeah, so goal is basically to answer as many questions we throw to you as possible within around 60 seconds. But before we get to that, so everybody who is watching right now, listening right now, please follow our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also follow us on Spotify. That's at The Gold Diggers PH. Again, at The Gold Diggers PH. Okay, Pauline, here we go. You ready? No thinking time. No thinking time.
No thinking time. You've used that card.
Okay.
All right, here we go. And timer is up. Favorite sports movie?
Oh my God, Titan.
Coffee or tea? Okay, coffee or tea?
Coffee for sure.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
Favorite series?
Oh my God, you guys.
No thinking.
How to Get Away with Murder.
Favorite Filipino food?
Sinigang. I know, I'm sorry. Kare.
Oh, wow. Fancy date or casual date?
Casual.
Oh.
Favorite pre-game music? Can you name 3 for pre-game music?
Oh my gosh, you're not gonna...
Let's do it.
Healing music. Like, God will make a way. Like those kinds of music.
Okay.
Sorry, not a lot of people know this. I
Okay.
can't believe I'm sharing this.
Last one. I know the buzzer is up, but love life or career?
Ooh.
Oh. I saw that.
I know. Career.
Yeah.
But can I explain this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
The timer's up.
We'll give you that.
So.
Of course, career, but you have to find your balance if there is a love life. Ganun lang yun. You can have it all. Priority and time management. And I thank you.
It's so binibining Filipinas, by the way.
Yeah. So both. Technically, not just career. Both. Okay, well.
Different phases in our life, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for the extended version of our Crunch Time. We've now come to the end of this season's first episode. But again, Pauline, thank you so much for joining us and for sharing so much of your story to our viewers and our listeners. But before we end tonight's episode, do you have any message for the people who are watching or listening, Gold Diggers, right now?
First and foremost, I just want to say thank you so much to Gold Diggers for including me in this. And I didn't even know, or maybe it passed at my mind, but I didn't even know that I'll be the first episode on this season. So thank you. It's truly an honor, and it's truly an honor to meet you both. And shout out to Sir Robbie for messaging me, for including me in this. And to everyone that's watching out there, I just want to say, stay safe, you guys, and continue doing what you love, whatever it may be. Stay motivated, stay inspired and empowered. And I just want to say thank you for supporting me also. And I hope to catch you guys soon. And I pray and hope that things will truly get better so we can all be together again. Thank you.
And we thank you. Candidate number 1. Oh, Pauline, honestly, thank you so much. It's been a breath of fresh air, given everything. Before we let you go, I know they already asked you a question, but is there anything that you, aside from SHERO, of course, anything you want to promote, anywhere we can find you, any upcoming competition, follow program, anything like that?
Well, I do have Instagram at Pauline, Facebook, Pauline Lopez, and of course, SHERO. You can find SHERO at Instagram at shero.ph and also on Facebook at SHEROPH. And my SHERO Talk is actually located in my own YouTube channel under a playlist, so I hope you guys can catch it there. And also on Spotify under SHERO Talk. So if you guys are not sick of my voice yet, you can listen to it on Spotify with amazing, incredible women. So yeah, again, thank you, and I can't wait to be on this show again with you guys and hopefully join a fun conversation again. So there.
Okay, and that's it basically for our Mulan, our SHERO. Pauline, thank you so much for joining us today. And that's all time we have for this episode, teammates. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed our content. There's more where that came from. Catch up on all episodes on Facebook, YouTube, and Spotify channels. And feel free to send in your suggestions for guests or anyone you want to see.
Right, and that ends our session for today. Catch you guys on the next episode of Gold Diggers Youth, where your game is our game. Bye!
Bye!